Welcome guys to Team Forbidden's YouTube page again. Andrew the Collector here with the final video in our trilogy of the top 5 decks. So today we are going to be talking about my favorite category, which is budget, because I always believe that no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, you should always be able to compete for the top tables, whether you are poor, whether you are rich, or anywhere in between. So this is for you guys who only have spare change in your pocket or are going diving in the couch cushions. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So we're going to start with number 5. This hurts my heart because How the Mighty Hath Fallen, I'm putting Floowandereeze here. Floowandereeze, in terms of representation, has fallen dramatically. And if it weren't for the fact that not a lot of the other cards on my previous list can be made budgetly, is why Floowandereeze is still here, because you can make the deck so easily, maybe even under 50 bucks if you budget well, and you can still have good representation with it. But as terms of overall representation in the format, I haven't seen Floowandereeze do much. I've maybe seen 1 or 2 lists every month or so. It's been hard to see, but I still love the deck. I love the way it plays. Hate me if you want, but I'm still a Floowandereeze player, and I always will be. And number 4, speaking of How the Mighty Hath Fallen, we have Runic. And you can put any kind of Runic deck you want. You can do the Pure, you can do the Sprite, you can do any variety, from Stun to For Hires, all of them is represented here in number 4. You can make an argument that different variants could go up in different spots, but I felt the same way with Snake Eyes in my top 5 meta decks. Is I could fill this whole list with just the Runic variants, but I didn't want to do that in terms of representation and fairness with other decks. But yeah, Runic's number 4. I think that's good enough. And number 3, Stun. Yes, I put Stun in my top 5 budget decks, and I was arguing for so long that I want to put this up in Rogue, but I've only seen this deck a few times in the actual meta game, and meta field, I should say, which is why I didn't put it in Rogue. But in terms of budget, you could make this deck easily under 100 bucks if you want the right cards. You can make the Barrier Statue variant. You can do Jowgen with Fossil Dyna, Inspector Border. I mean, go ahead and check out my budget, my list that I made that I got first place at my locals with. It's still relatively budget, and I made that deck with if not just above 100 bucks. So you could definitely make this deck easily. If you want to piss off a lot of people, this is the deck for you. But if you want to make friends at your locals, I highly recommend any other deck on this list. And number 2 is Fire Kings. For the last 2 formats, this has been my number 1, but I'll save number 1 in a little bit. But yeah, this deck is still really good. You can make the deck with just 3 structure decks and easily go to the top cut in your locals. It's still insanely powerful and good at how this card is, or how this deck is. And if you have any extra money in your budget, you can put that towards any Snake Eye cards that you want to splash in here, or any other support cards. But yeah, I've said way too much on this deck in the past. If you don't know why Fire Kings should be number 2, then you need to really go back and evaluate the deck for yourself. And it brings me to number 1, which is Mimigools. I've talked extensively about this deck in my previous video, so you want a more in-depth as to why this deck is good, go check that out. But why it's here is because, as of now for the pre-sales, you can still get this core relatively cheap. Only 2 cards, which I believe is Master and their Field Spell. Each of those ranges between $12 to $15 a piece, and you do need 3 of them. So that right there is about 60 bucks. The rest of the cards in the core are dollars, or if not cents, so you can easily pick the rest of those up for maybe under 10 bucks. And then the rest of the support stuff is going to be penny stonks or generic cards that you should have. If not, you should easily be able to acquire through the reprints of previous sets, like the Rarity Collections. But yeah, like I said, look out for this deck. It's very nasty and very dangerous if they have the chance to go. And it's a very, very control-based deck, which I love. I'm going to pick up the deck when I can, but I just want to warn you guys, just keep an eye out for it, because if you aren't prepared for it, it's going to hit you by the wayside. But anyway, guys, that is it for the for my top 5 budget list and for the list trilogy. Like I said in the first video, the placings of these decks may change depending on how the format goes. Right now, this is all a prediction. Nothing is concrete. It's just from the research I have done, from what I've seen on social media. But yeah, that's it for the videos. If you guys enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell down below for notifications. And if you want to see any other types of videos other than these or the deck profiles, please let us know down in the comment section below, because we are looking for different variety of videos that we want to give you guys. But let us know what you want us to do. But yeah, until then, we'll catch you guys in the next one.